So, welcome to another episode of the soccer/football video blog. Here, back the World Cup continuing on. Yesterday were Germany playing Brazil. So it's been a week, a little over a week, since Mexico got defeated by Holland. No era penal. I still say that. I still post that sometimes. It might be getting annoying, but to me it's still funny, and it brings humor into this whole situation and decreases the emotions. But I'm pretty much over it. There's been a lot of humor and the pictures of Robin diving like a ballerina and all these things. The Miguel Herrera pictures, the memes, and all that stuff that goes on that's lightened the whole mood. So it's all good. Mexico did a good job. Except for those final minutes of bunkering back and mentality. And today, I'm going to talk a little bit more about mentality, especially after this game from yesterday. But the World Cup has been going on later. I don't know if I posted before or after the U.S. Lost to Belgium. That was a pretty good game. Belgium was just attacking. I think the U.S. Were just playing too safe, playing far back, too much defending, not enough possession and control and technical control over the ball to do any damage and prevent damage from being done. So the whole game they were defending. Howard was huge, and that's not to say that it's actually a negative on the defense for Howard to have so many record-breaking saves. But the U.S. were eliminated. It was actually a good game towards the end. The beginning was not so much, but some other highlights, I guess, were Argentina was able to go through. Brazil was able to go through against Colombia. The Brazil-Colombia game was pretty entertaining. There's tons of fouls. I thought the ref did a horrible job and didn't give out cards early enough to control the situation. Brazil was fouling just as much as Colombia. Brazil was taking James Rodriguez hard and on his fouls, and they were doing the same to Brazil. So just back and forth, and eventually Neymar got hit pretty bad in his back and ended up getting injured, taken out of the game, and he misses the World Cup. He missed yesterday's game against Germany. That was a huge loss for Brazil. Brazil went through and won the game with some pretty good goals from I think Silva and Sideshow Bob got a nice goal off a free kick. So Brazil continued, deservedly so, against Colombia. James was crying at the end. He's an emotional young kid, and he's got a promising future, so I'm anxious to see him and how he does in his club career and with the national team. Germany went through not really impressively through their team, which was I don't remember. Argentina went through. Holland went through on penalty kicks against Costa Rica. Costa Rica played a pretty good game, but they're bunkering, they're defending. Keylor Navas was excellent in the goal, just like Howard. But the Holland's, everyone's praising their coach for at the last minute putting in this goalkeeper who's supposedly a penalty kick specialist, just a guru. And he came in, he was talking to the Costa Rican players as they were going to kick, trying to psych them out. I heard that he was telling them actually that he knew which way they were going to shoot the ball. Just a bunch of antics to me. I don't like those type of prideful players, and I didn't really see anything impressive. He did block 2 of the shots, which happens all the time. People block shots. I have to recheck them if they were super amazing blocks, but they look normal to me. And Holland went through. In that game, a lot of people here root for CONCACAF teams, even though it's Costa Rica. They'll say, yeah, CONCACAF, let's see them beat Holland. I was more for anyone beat Holland, and I don't really like Costa Rica as a rival, as an opponent of Mexico. so I didn't really care who would win. But it's always nice to see Holland lose. They didn't, of course, and they continue on. So they'll go against Argentina today, actually, in a few hours. Brazil went against Germany yesterday without Neymar. So initially you think, this is the mental thing of this game. If I were Germany, I think, okay, they have no Neymar. They have their star player, their player that has the ability to break you down, to score goals, to cut, to pass, to do everything as a playmaker and as a goal scorer. So that gives an edge in the German mentality, going into this game thinking, yes, we have this game. Since the beginning, no one's ever talked too much about it, but Brazil hasn't been the greatest defensively, hasn't been the greatest offensively, hasn't been the greatest team. Germany has had far more impressive performances, some bad performances as well, like not really bad, but sort of let off the gas in the U.S. game and in other games. But so that you have that mentality going into the game. Brazil coming in without Silva as well, so two of their main players not playing for Brazil. Germany coming in strong, knowing this, taking advantage of that mentality. They go up one goal, and this is the key part of the game. Their first goal for Germany. Now, when you get scored on as a team, you immediately, especially when it's early, you immediately want to come back with a tie. Especially if you're a power like Brazil, you have the ability to score, you have the ability to tie. And Brazil was playing good at first, so they knew they could do that. So they pushed forward, they were on the attack. Their mentality was get this thing back and forget patience, just go with get it back quick. Anxious. They were anxious to get that goal back. They knew they could do it. They were trying their best. And their defensive team, you got Fernandinho, Maicon, Luis, Marcelo. They're all offensive. They're all offensive capable players. They're all capable of pushing up and attacking. So when on defense, I caught a lot of them, Luis, Marcelo, when they would get beat on defense, they would let themselves get beat and not recover and not run back, but expect one of their players to tap the ball and recover and take the ball away. And they would just stand there and watch, because when the ball came back, they would be set to go on offense. That's the mentality that they had and they showed. And it was just disastrous on the defensive end. They were lost. It looked like they were blind. They didn't know what they were doing. They weren't playing in their positions. They were waiting for a ball to come back to them, even though there might have been one person against two Germans, so that they could go on the offense. Forget that they were under attack, that they were about to get scored on. They're waiting for that ball to come back so that they can take it down with their confidence and score a goal to get back the initial one. And that just did them in. Germany had the patience, even though they were on the attack. They passed back and forth multiple times on different goals. Some were unintentional because they missed a shot, or he might have halfway tried to shoot it and heard that someone was behind him, and scored some really nice goals, not off the first opportunity, but off a second pass or even a third pass to an easier shot, and the Brazilian defense was totally off the mark and weren't able to recover on those plays. There was one play where I saw 2 or 3 Germans passing amongst each other, and Marcelo, instead of going after to try to block the ball or block the kick or block the shot, he ran back into the post to try to help the goalie who was running up to try to block it. You're just losing your angle when you run back. Why run back? If you're in certain situations, you would run back, but in that situation, you have to run forward and try to block that shot. So their defense was horrible. They scored 7 goals on them. Oscar got 1 goal at the end, just because Germany was letting off. he had the speed, and he was able to get that last goal at least. But the fans were in shock. They couldn't believe what was going on after like third or fourth or whatever goal. Kids were crying in the stands. Adults tearing, asking what was going on. People leaving the stadium at halftime. It was a really bad game, really humiliating. I thought some things might be sparking up, but this is a German team that's respected, so Brazil honored that. Fred, I saw, his eyes, I think, were watering before the half on the field. It was a dejected team. You could see it in their eyes. You could see it, especially Fred, and I think that's why he got taken out at half. He just couldn't handle it. He was about to bawl, I believe. The mentality you have to take those kind of goals and then continue on is got to be very strong. But he looked like he was tearing, so I agreed he needed to get off the field. So Brazil went out. Germany's obviously seen as the team that's going to do it. It's going to win it all, and it's either going to be against Argentina or Holland. Now, Argentina and Holland, dislike them both. They are both teams that have eliminated Mexico in the last 3 World Cups. I'd sort of like to see Argentina beat Holland, and then Argentina will get whipped by Germany. But it could go the other way. I don't really care. I see Germany, and I hope Germany wins this whole thing, because I don't want to see Argentina or Holland win. It would be funny to see Argentina win the World Cup in Brazil, and just all their fans go crazy with their chants and their anti-Brazilian little chants and songs that they have. But so the World Cup continues today. We'll see what goes. Just want to talk a little bit about that mentality that in the Germany-Brazil game, you could tell that Germany had the chance to win and most likely would win. Brazil also had a chance, but with that mentality of losing Neymar, it's not just one player. One player doesn't make a difference, but in the mentality of things, one player makes a huge difference in giving Germany that edge and making things worse in the mental state for Brazil. And they just couldn't handle it. Mentally, they lost it. They were unorganized. They couldn't be stable in their defense and have patience for a comeback. They were too anxious to score. They were too anxious to get that goal back, and they lost their organization. So mentally, it was a breakdown, all caused, I think, because of Neymar and that first goal by the Germans, which was inevitable, I think. It could have been a lot closer if they would have maintained their stability and their mentality. So we'll see you guys next time. This is a little long one. Check you guys later.